Welcome to Eureka Math. This is Module 2, Lesson 13, and our objective is to use whole number multiplication to express equivalent measurements. So by equivalent measurements, what they mean is we are converting measurements, right? So maybe feet to yards or centimeters to meters, time to minutes to hours. So let's check it out, okay? So here's your problem set. Write your name on your page. Number 1, solve. The first one is done for you. So what we're doing is we are converting, in this example, weeks, right, to days. So we have 8 weeks and we want to convert those to days. So 8 times 1, because there's 1 week, right? What we're really doing is we're taking this unit and we're putting it over here. We're separating it. So we can create, instead of weeks, we can change that to days. And 1 week equals 7 days. Then it's a simple multiplication problem. 8 times 7 is 56, 56 days, okay? So I hope that makes sense to you. This should be a pretty quick lesson. Here we're changing years to days, okay? So we have 4 years times 1 year, 4 times 1 year. So what we're doing is we're separating the units. We're taking these two things and we're cutting them in half, right? 4 on one side and 1 on the other. So 4 times 1 year equals 4 years. You see how we're doing that? We're separating the unit from the number. Now, I still have that same 4, which I'm bringing down here, but now I'm going to convert 1 year to 365 days. If you didn't know that there were 365 days in a year, that's something you should probably memorize. You'll use it your whole life. So now, instead of 1 year, we're calling this 365 days. We're converting units from years to days. Now it's just a multiplication problem, 4 times 365. And I'm going to do that right here below. 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 2. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2 is 26, carry the 2. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. Now here's my answer. I have 1,460 days in 4 years, okay? Next, we're going from meters to centimeters. So I have 9.2 times 1 meter. Okay, so I'm separating the unit from the number. And then that 9.2 is going to carry down to the next row. And 1 meter equals how many centimeters? You should know this if you don't. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So I'm just going to move from meters to centimeters, so 100 right here. And then this is a fairly straightforward multiplication problem. I don't even need to stack them or use my standard algorithm because I know that I just can move this decimal over 2 spaces because there are 2 zeros there. 920. Now I have 920 centimeters. Okay. All right, yards to feet. Let's see. So I've got 5.7 yards, which actually equals 5.7 times 1 yard. Okay? And 1 yard, if you don't have this memorized, equals 3 feet. This is important to know. You should memorize that. Now I'm going to change these yards to feet. So I've got 3 feet here, but my 5.7 stays the same. Just following this format here. Now 5.7 times 3. 7 times 3 is 21, carry the 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 16, 17. Then I took my decimal out in my head by multiplying by 10. So in the answer, in my head, I have to divide by 10, right? And then I'm going to put that decimal right there, okay? So my answer is 17.1 feet. There, I've successfully converted yards to feet. Kilograms to grams. All right, for those of you who may not remember, 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to separate the number from the unit. So 6 8/100 times 1 kilogram is the same as saying 6 8/100 times 1,000 grams. Do you see how this equation and this equation are exactly the same? Now I can just multiply, and I don't need to stack it or anything, because I can multiply pretty easily here. I can just move this over 1, 2, and then add a 0 3 times. 6,080 grams. Okay, you should be able to multiply that in your head. All right, pounds to ounces. I always forget. Let's just double check. I think it's 16 pounds. Pounds. No, ounces in a pound. There we go. And there are 16 ounces in a pound. See, that's one that I have a hard time with the non-metric units. So there's 16 ounces equals 1 pound. All right. Let's see, now I'm going to separate the pounds, the number from the units. So I'm going to separate that times 1 pound. Okay. And then I'm going to rewrite the equation, but I'm going to convert that to ounces. So that's 16 ounces. And now I have a math problem. I am going to stack this one. 12.5 times 16. Okay. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. Then drop the 0. 5, 2, 1. And 0, 8, 9, 10. Carry the 1 is 2,000. I have 2,000 ounces. Cool. All right. Oh, look what I did wrong. Do you see what I did wrong? I see what I did wrong. I knew that seemed too big. Okay. In my head, I needed to multiply that by 10 to get that decimal point over one space, right? I forgot. So in my answer, I had to divide by 10, okay, which put my decimal point right there, which gave me a new answer of 200 ounces. And you know how I figured out I made a mistake? I estimated, right? 10 times, I converted this to 10 in my head, times 16 would have been 160. And I knew 2,000 was way too big because in my head I estimated 160 ounces. So estimation helps. All right, number 2. After solving, so you have to solve first, write a statement to express each conversion. The first one is done for you. Okay. Convert the number of hours in a day to minutes. So we know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. 24 hours in a day, 24 times 60 is 1,444 minutes. Okay. All we did was convert from hours to minutes and multiply by the number of hours. So here's the statement they want. 1 day has 24 hours, which is the same as 1,440 minutes. Okay, a small female gorilla weighs 68 kilograms. All right, 68 kilos. Okay, how much does she weigh in grams? So we're going to convert 68 kilograms to grams, which means we're going to separate the number from the unit. And then I'm going to create another equation here, 68, and I'm going to convert this 1 kilogram to grams. Now, how many grams are in a kilogram? 1,000. Okay. And then 68 times 1,000 is pretty easy, 68,000 grams. That is a big gorilla. Okay, so I found the answer, but now I have to express a statement, write a statement to express each conversion. So, a gorilla weighs, not any old gorilla, this particular gorilla, maybe her name is Lucy, weighs 68 kilograms, which is the same as 68,000 grams. Okay, this is math class, not language arts class, so you don't have to get too creative with your sentences. If you want to, you can, but you can just follow the same format that they've created for us. That's what I did there, okay? Letter C. The height of a man is 1 7/10 meters. What is his height in centimeters? Okay, so he is 1.7 meters tall, which equals 1.7 times 1 meter. And 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, so 1.7 times 100 centimeters. And then I can just multiply this and get 170 centimeters. Okay. A man is 1.7 meters tall, which is the same as 170 centimeters. Okay. The capacity of a syringe is 8/100ths of a liter. Convert this to milliliters. Okay. Well, 0.08 liters equals 0.08 times 1 liter. Okay? Now that 1 liter might confuse you because this number is smaller than 1, but don't let it, because all we're doing is we're separating the unit, right? Okay, so we're going to take that number and we're going to convert it to milliliters, which 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. Okay? And 8/100ths times 1,000 means we move this decimal over 1, 2, 3 spaces, and our new answer is 80 milliliters. You see how I got there? Okay, I just moved this over 1, 2, 3 spaces, but there wasn't one there, so I had to add a 0, and then my decimal point goes after, and I can erase the 2 zeros in front. Okay, so 80 milliliters. A syringe, do you know what a syringe is? That's what you get injections from, or get shots from, or get vaccines from, right? A syringe is that plastic thing. So a syringe. Do you know that a syringe gets locked onto a needle gets locked onto the top of a syringe, and there's a little locking mechanism on that syringe. And did you know that the name of that locking mechanism, which was created by someone a long, long time ago, the name of that is called a Luer lock, spelt just like my last name. Isn't that cool? Little tidbit. I bet I'm distantly related to that inventor, but not enough to make any money from it. So, okay, a syringe is 0.08 liters, which is the same as 80 milliliters. Okay. E. A coyote weighs 11.3 pounds. And we just said that 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound. Remember, we just looked that one up. That one's always hard for me to remember, but I remember it from just now. Okay, so 11.3 pounds equals 11.3 times 1 pound. LB is the symbol for pound. If you didn't know that, LB is the symbol for pound. I don't know why. I think it's something we could look up. It looks like a 16 to some people. I don't know why it's LB. I really don't. But if you want to look it up, that might be an interesting fact to share at parties, right? Okay, so I'm going to convert this to ounces, which means I'm going to copy that same number and I'm going to bring it down. But then here I'm changing this to ounces. So 1 pound equals 16 ounces. And then I'm going to have to multiply, and those two numbers I am going to stack because they're just a little too big for me to do in my head. 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 6 times 1 is 6, drop the 0. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. And there's my answer. I have to put that decimal back in, so the decimal moved over 1 space, right? So I'm going to move it back 1 space and move it right here, which equals 180 and 8/10 ounces. And now my sentence, a coyote weighs 11.3 pounds. That's like a fat cat. I bet Clyde, my cat, weighs close to that. Which is 180.8 pounds. No, ounces, sorry. Period. Okay, last one. An alligator is 2.3 yards long. What is the length of the alligator in inches? Oh, careful. All right. There are 12 inches in 1 foot, and there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So how many inches are in a yard to go from 12 to yard? We're going to multiply 12 times 3 and get 36 inches in 1 yard, okay? Just in case. So 2.3 yards equals 2.3 times 1 yard. And if I wanted to, I could convert it to feet and then convert it to yards, which equals 2.3 times 3 feet, right? And then I could say, well, that's the same as saying 3 feet is the same as saying 36 inches, right? So I could just add that step in there if that helps you, if you don't want to jump straight from yards to inches, okay? But now I have to convert this. 2.3 times 36 is 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13, drop the 0. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6. 8, 12, 8. Okay, and then I took that decimal over 1, so I need to put it back 1, which means 82.8 inches. And what is the length of the alligator in inches? That is a big alligator. That is a very big alligator. That is much taller than a man. Wow. I'm 5'11", which is almost 6 feet, which is almost 2 yards. So way taller than me. Okay. An alligator, this particular alligator, is 2.3 yards long, which is 82.8 inches. Okay. Excellent. If you have questions, please ask me. Converting units, converting measurements, super useful, very helpful, especially if you're cooking and you need to convert from cups to tablespoons or something like that. Or if you're cutting something, you want to convert from inches to feet. Lots of useful, practical things for that. All right, great. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and see you later.